it going?
It's going great.
Can you give me your name?
Sure, it's Cairn, C-A-I-R-N, Cross, C-R-O-S-S.
Perfect. And can you tell me what is Road Pitch?
So Road Pitch is a 5-day motorcycle event where we bring together motorcycle riders who are entrepreneurs and business owners and investors and business advisors. We ride around Vermont. We stop in 10 towns, 7 towns each day, and we listen usually to about 5 pitches from local entrepreneurs who want advice or money or help or connections or whatever they need, and we try to figure out whether that is anything that we're able to provide.
And are these writers like just entrepreneurs themselves, or just investors?
Yep, mostly entrepreneurs actually within the group, or business owners of some sort.
So you were talking earlier about how you get one person today, and then there's another event later on the year. Can you talk about how that process works?
Yeah, so we pick a winner at each site, and that winner gets a chance to come to Burlington in October to a final pitch-off with all the other winners for a $5,000 prize and some mentorship. And by the way, we do hand out at the local events. We do hand out a $500 prize for the winners.
And my other question: what kind of businesses do you see the most around?
It's different in each location, and so it's a huge wide variety of business. So we see some things like we saw here in Brattleboro today that are food, beverage, consumer product oriented. We see quite a bit of technology in different parts of the state, so software, things that are software enabled in some fashion. We see some things that are otherwise hard to describe. We were up in the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont at the beginning of the week, and we saw it's a tour boat that operates on Lake Mesomagog, and they were looking for some help and some funding for repositioning their business in that fashion. So really a wide variety of ideas and opportunities.
So unfortunately for you watching, you can't pitch your business, but next year you're going to come. When do you come around this time?
Pretty much the first week in August, or the first week that has a significant number of days. Like August 1st fell on a Friday, we'd go the next week. But this year, August 1st fell on a Tuesday, so we're July 31st to August 1st.
Anything else you would like to say about Road Pitch?
No, I mean it's a tremendous amount of fun. We try to be able to do business and have fun at the same time, and it's a great group of folks. Thanks.
Thank you.
So welcome to the 4th annual Road Pitch, and this is the 3rd year at the River Garden, and we're so proud. And I want to give a big hand to Cairn for connecting and setting all this up. We're very excited to have you to our beautiful town of Brattleboro and the Strolling of the Heifer River Garden. This is our home. We had our own business planning competition, and we're so glad now that we're the partners of the Road Pitch. So welcome. And by the way, thank you. The lovely refreshments you ate today is from our Farm to Table apprenticeship program. It's a 12-week program. The first week is heavy-duty skills for people who are underemployed, learning culinary skills, and are being placed in an apprenticeship position the next 9 weeks. And every Monday we meet back here in that kitchen over there. And so they learned Monday plating, and so you're having their wonderful dishes. So yeah, good, thank you. So I know we want to get the program going, but I'd love Cairn to say a few words. Cairn, are you here? Oh, there he is.
So I'm Cairn Cross. I'm the co-founder, managing director of Fresh Press. travel around the state with this entourage, which is really fun because they clap twice a day at things I say. I begin to think I'm funny. I'm not.
Handsome too.
Yeah, you're laying it on. So we have some statewide, so it's basically road pitch. We ride around for 5 days. We visit 10 towns in Vermont, and by pre-arrangement, we listen to pitches from local entrepreneurs. Believe me, every town is very different. They have their own styles, their own types of entrepreneurs. It's a lot of fun. We, at each of the stops, we pick a winner. We give that winner $500. I write a check. It's a real check. It is not a big fake check. You can cash it. We also give them a Vermont teddy bear. Jim, you want to reach down and pick up Abby. So this is Abby Road Pitch. I want to be clear, there's been a little confusion. This is pitch with a P. Just so you know, it's Abby Road Pitch. And then we, did Merritt?
Yes,
oh, there's
it's
a dog.
right up there.
Right, so there's a dog named Tucker, and one of our sponsors is Merritt Law Firm in Burlington, and they had an office lab, a black lab dog named Tucker, and Tucker has gone over the Rainbow Bridge, and they commemorated Tucker with stuffed dog, and that is also part of the winner's package. So we will listen to pitches, and then we have a scoring system that we score, and then we'll deliberate a bit, and we'll announce a winner. I'm just going to run through really quickly, though, because we have these sponsors that make it possible for us to actually give out all the money. We have the Key Bank's been one of our sponsors. We have our Key Bank local branch manager. We have the Vermont Department of Economic Development. Nick Grimley's back there. Ed Williams from PPAC. They are from the government, and they truly are here to help. This is Vermont. It's different than other places. We have the Molten Law Group. This is an especially interesting piece because, see, we have an actual motorcycle club formed. It's a legal organization, and we're chartered by the American Motorcycle Association. And this, believe it or not, especially today, is an actual sanctioned motorcycle ride with responsible and respectable motorcyclists who obey traffic laws. And a few miscreants that seem to have snuck into the group. But anyway, we have a corporate attorney, Molten Law Group, and I've always been fearful that I'm going to have to say send lawyers, guns, and money, and today was one of those days, so cut it out. We have Burlington Bites as a sponsor. They develop our road pitch website. It's roadpitch.co. It's not .com because we're a small organization. We can't afford the M. It's .co. Champlain College and the Champlain College Bring Your Own Business program. They have Josh Kenyon's a recent graduate of Champlain College. He is our intern this summer. He's helping with scoring and all that. Thank you. That's what his parents said too. Sorry, should I hold it closer?
Yes.
Yeah, better. Okay, great. We have Jason, who comes with us all the time. Drives our truck. We have Social Sentinel. Gary Margolis. It's a threat monitoring and assessment service. And I've been joking all week, so what's the threat level of road pitch? And today, he's off the charts.
The threats that we found on social media leveled against you, we've identified the person, and she'll talk to you about it later when you get home.
And the Gallagher Flynn, Steve Trenholm is with us. Gallagher Flynn is one of our sponsors, financial sponsors. That's it. So there's what's that? Oh yeah, the winner tonight gets to go to the final event, October 19th, at Champlain College, and pitch against everyone else from around the state. For one $5,000 prize and the mentorship of this rider group, less the miscreants, but the actual rider group, or the rider group for next year, without the miscreants. And we do free, it's free mentoring, and you get what you pay for. So with that, who's up next?
So thank you, Karen. I don't think think I introduced myself. I'm Orly Munzing. I'm the executive director and founder of Strolling of the Heifers. So thank you so much. And I just want to tell you something. I don't know if Karin told you this, but in his spare time, I don't think he rides his motorcycle down to Brattleboro, but he comes to Brattleboro once a month, and the other times he basically is on Skype talking to our participants in our Wyndham Grows program, which scales up small businesses, and Jim will talk about that. So thank you, Karin, for all you do. He knows this drive very well. Without much ado, I'd like to introduce Andrew Richardson from Key Bank, and Andrew wants to say a few words.
Thank you, Orly. This is my second year doing the Road Pitch event, and last year was a great experience to see that, and I can't wait to hear from the presenters today and also the feedback from all the riders. Key Bank is really all about financial wellness. It's really what our value is, and we are all about spreading financial wellness through both the consumer and business banking community that we serve. So we would love to continue to help do that, and I think this event really aligns well with that. And I really appreciate everybody who made this event possible, Orly and Karin, to include us as a sponsor. So anything I can do to help, please reach out and let me know. Thank you.
One more introduction, and that's for Raymond Lanza Whale from Vermont Community Loan Fund, who is the sponsor for the road pitch in the River Garden.
Hey there.
Whoa. Can you hear me without this? Yeah. It'd be better. I don't do mics very well. Yeah. Raymond Lanza-Weil, I'm the Director of Business Programs at the Vermont Community Loan Fund. And I've got to ask, do you know what kind of motorcycle cattle prefer to ride? Harley. Close. Kawasaki's. I'm very sorry to all the Harley riders out there, especially the Pearsons if they're here. And then a colleague said to me today, do you know what you call a cow that rides a motorcycle in the rain? Kawasagi. There you go. So for 30 years, I know, I'm done, right? For 30 years, Vermont Community Loan Fund has raised investments from individuals throughout Vermont and put this socially responsible capital to work to provide financing for affordable housing projects, for childcare businesses, for businesses in the food, farms, and forest sectors, as well as other businesses of all types throughout the state. We've loaned $95 million and helped create over 5,600 jobs since we started in 1987. I hope you'll all join us on October 12th at Shelburne Farms when we celebrate this and more at our 30th anniversary event. In the meantime, there's a display back there with more information about the Loan Fund if you're interested. I'm very proud to be a part of Vermont Community Loan Fund. I'm proud of what we do and what we've accomplished in 30 years. And I'm super proud and excited to be here today as a sponsor of this stop on the road pitch. Entrepreneurs inspire me every day. I love my work. They say, what do they say? If you love your job, you never work a day in your life, and I get to work with entrepreneurs all the time. I'm inspired by their creativity, their persistence, their courage, and I think you'll find that the entrepreneurs you're going to meet today, whom I've already met, are equally inspiring. So thanks to everyone here for coming. Thanks to Orly and to RT and to Jim and to Karin and everybody else who made this possible, and for promoting road pitch and entrepreneurship in our great state. Thanks a lot.
I would now like to introduce RT Brown from BDCC.
I'm going to try Raymond's approach too. Oh, okay. I just would like to thank everyone for being here. It was a joy. Last year was my first year being involved, and I felt like I was really a deer in the headlights trying to juggle everything. And so this year Jim was here, and a heartfelt thanks to Jim as well as to Raymond, because it was a true joy working with folks and going through the process. So many thanks to the partners here. You're going to see today some wonderful presentations by a true representation of Southern Vermont. And putting my economic development hat on, I'd just like to say when I arrived here 2 years ago to administer the Wyndham County Economic Development Program, there wasn't much going on with regards to entrepreneurship and innovation, and now Jim's here. We've rolled out a program called Instigate that focuses on early emerging firms. So there's a lot of great stuff happening in that space, and we're really excited about it. So we're ready to kick things off, and I'm going to hand it over to Jim now.
Thank you. Real quickly, I'm Jim Verzino, and I'm the Director of Entrepreneur in Residence for Wyndham Grows, and along with Karin, who is our other Entrepreneur in Residence, who has been a great mentor to our cohort members and to me. It's been wonderful. We just finished up our first 9-month cohort of Wyndham Grows, which is a business hatchery, or some would call it a business accelerator, specifically for food and agriculture businesses. So we're about to start our second group here later this month, and it's super exciting. But we've got, as RT said, a great bunch of entrepreneurs here to present. So without further ado, we're going to start you off with Sugar Bob.
Without the mic. I've been told that great projection. I'm Rob Hauslein from Londonderry, Vermont. You can call me Sugar Bob. I make maple syrup, and in Vermont that makes me a sugar maker. I work in a sugar house, and at the end of the day, I like to see how things sugar off. We've been making maple syrup in Londonderry for about 25 years. Somewhere along the road, we stumbled across the idea of it bubbling real wood smoke through our maple syrup and created a specialty food product called smoked maple syrup. That's real maple syrup, real wood smoke. Nothing else has been added. There is no liquid smoke involved in the process. It is a savory pantry item used in small amounts in sauces, marinades, barbecue glazes, and in cocktails. All the cool kids are making cocktails with smoked maple syrup. We started selling, we are the originators of smoked maple syrup. We invented it. It's our baby. We started selling smoked maple syrup at the farmer's market years ago and quickly discovered a consumer passion for it that just made us stand up and take notice. People called us from far and wide needing more, telling us about their recipes. They put it on their salmon, on their vegetables, on all their different foods. And we decided to launch our business based on this consumer demand. That's why we do what we do. We sold 8,000 bottles of smoked maple syrup last year. We make them for a little bit under $3, and they retail at about $12.95 on the store shelves. We outgrew the sugar house. We outgrew the kitchen. We went looking for new facilities, and we found them. And along the way, we picked up another brand, Vermont Maple Sriracha. Just listen to those 3 words, Vermont, Maple, and Sriracha, all in one bottle. What's not to love? We bought the company. It's made with just 5 simple ingredients. There are no additives, no fillers, and no preservatives. We identified quickly that this product had the same intense consumer-driven passion that the smoked maple syrup had. That's not the only synergy we saw between the companies. It also has a very similar cost of goods and a very similar SRP, suggested retail price. So the business model scaled appropriately as well. Finally, our methods of distribution of the products was similar in that we sell about 30% direct to consumers. That's through online sales, farmers markets, etc. 30% direct to retailer, and 30% through conventional third-party distribution regionally. The final 10%, I would say, is in food service. That's restaurants and bars, and to other specialty food manufacturers. We use it as an ingredient in their specialty food. Specialty food stands at a moment of opportunity as the center of store continues to wither under the pressures of Amazon, Walmart, Costco, and the like. Specialty food, with its authentic storylines, clean ingredient labels, and higher margins, stands ready to move on in for the edge of the store and start to occupy more and more of that precious retail shelf space. We as a company find ourselves ready to seize this moment of opportunity. We have a plan to double our sales in the next year. That's why I'm here talking to you. I need your professional advice, your encouragement, and possibly your investment dollars. In order to double sales, our predicted sales for 2017 are at $400,000. We're going to try to aim and double those for 2018. As we go down this road, we do see 3 opportunity challenges ahead of us. The first is in our production facility. In our current upgrade, we have already increased our production capacity by an order of magnitude. But we do see the need to do that again coming down the pike. Secondly, we have 2 distinct and awesome brands with dedicated consumers following, passionate. Smoked maple syrup and Vermont maple sriracha. We have 2 different sets of graphics, 2 logos, 2 websites, 2 phone numbers, 2 email domains. We need to merge these thoughtfully and carefully so that we can build one umbrella brand that also maintains the individual story and voice of the brands that got them to where they are today. Lastly, we'd like to hire a national sales manager. I have in my pocket at this time the leads necessary to double sales in 2018. I love to go out on the road and tell our story. This is what I do. I'm Sugar Bob. But I don't have the time and possibly the inclination to do a great job with follow-up and closing. We think a national sales manager would really help accomplish this task. This sales manager would become part of our management team, which right now consists of myself, Rob Hauslein. I have been self-employed for my entire life. I am fearless. I love what I do. More than anything, I love what I do. And I can be a little reckless at times, but that's okay. I am kept well in check by my business partner, Andrea Ogden, who is a Dartmouth graduate, grew up in a family that ran a very successful small business in the Pacific Northwest, and whose fiduciary bona fides are second to none, exemplified by her position as treasurer, town of Landgrove, Vermont. So here we have this moment of opportunity, 2 dynamic brands, and a clear path forward for doubling sales in 2018. Who wants to be a part of this story? If you need to get in contact with me, all you need to do is Google smoked maple syrup. On any given day, we own the entire first page of organic search results under that Google query. You may see some of our competition out there. That's okay. We own that page because we are the originators of smoked maple syrup. Now, I know you guys are on bikes, hogs, cycles, whatever, and you don't have a lot of room to carry stuff around with you, but I did bring you samples of our smoked maple syrup in our TSA-compliant 2-ounce travel size that is guaranteed to fit in your saddlebags and elevate your next barbecue experience. I'm Sugar Bob. I'm signing off. Thank you for your time, and I will open the floor for questions.
So I will facilitate the Q&A, and what I'll do is call on the riders and try to keep it under control.
I don't have a question, I just have a testimonial. I received this as a Christmas gift last Christmas, and it was the favorite gift that I received. I use it on everything.
This is typical
awesome.
of the testimonials we get every day by electronic mail.
Lee duly noted that, so you're good. Eric.
Bob, what are the leads that you have in your pocket?
The leads I have in my pocket are things we've developed at the Fancy Food Show in New York City at the Javits Center from last year and from this year. They are leads that we get when we go out to do trade shows and consumer shows around the area. So I have everything from small stores in the Chesapeake Bay to buyer contacts at Fairway. We just closed a big deal with Fairway down in New York City. And right now, my primary lead is with Central Market in Texas.
Thank you.
Steve.
Bob, great presentation, great charisma. Quick question on your finances. You told us what it costs to make, what you sell. What other overhead do you have presently, and what have you projected for overhead if you double your sales?
Excellent question. We are a little unsure on how to do accurate financial projections. And so we are part of this program looking for specific mentoring to help with that. I would say that our overhead right now includes rent, employee, there's a certain fixed cost that we're covering with sales, including, I draw a very modest, small salary. So we're paying myself and an employee rent on big commercial space and running through all our costs of goods. And we're eking out the small profit every month. Fourth quarter is where we really make our big statement, and we're going to see how that unfolds. So I hope that's not too vague.
I'm going to go to David.
I heard $3 cost of sales, $12.95 to the retail, and you gave a breakdown of that 30, 30, 30, 10. What's your focus? Is your goal to retail it? Is your goal to wholesale it? Where do you want to end up with this product?
Well, we find that we like that mix. We like that mix because you get a higher margin direct to consumer, so we want to increase our online sales. Every fourth quarter we get picked up in some press mention, Savor, Epicurious, who knows what. We get a big boost on online sales. We love that. The other end of the spectrum, to grow the business, we need distribution, right? So that's our lowest margin. This is a $6 distributor cost item right here. We sell those by the pallet. That's where the specialty food model really shines for growth. We also love to distribute directly to retailers across the country because it lets us pepper the country with the sort of super focused mid-sized specialty stores around the country by delivering direct. So I would say we're trying to maintain a split between those three things, but ultimately we're going to be heavier in distribution as far as sales numbers are.
Gary.
How long have you been in business? Did I miss that? You're doing 400,000 of sales right now, and how long have you been?
We're predicting sales in 17 to be 400,000.
All right, so
because that's combining these two companies together that we own right now.
Right as of today? What's sales as of today?
Sales for this year.
Well, we're more than halfway through 17, so you must have some. Are you on target to hit 400,000?
Typically we do half of our business in fourth quarter.
So you're waiting for
yes,
the fourth quarter?
Yes. We've been choosing that number carefully, and we're very confident that that's a realistic goal.
What kind of debt's on the books for the acquisition of Vermont Sriracha?
We have shareholder debt alone. We have no outside debt whatsoever.
But you have debt for that?
Well, the shareholders, the business partners, have put their personal capital in, so the debt is to ourselves.
And and last question on this, how much, maybe you said this, how much are you looking to raise and at what valuation?
Bob,
yes.
So $400,000, 30% of it is wholesale, roughly $120,000, roughly you're going to do in wholesale business this year? How much of that 120,000 is repeat business? And how much of it is for the first time?
I would say half of it is for the first time because we're growing, we're blossoming. We go out and then, and we're hitting these new accounts. And then I would say of the new accounts we get, we probably have about at least 60% repeat orders within 60.
Thank you.
Why is the fourth quarter so disproportionately high in comparison to the rest of the year for maple?
Because we don't consider ourselves in the maple space as much as we are in the specialty food space. We're clearly, maple is an umbrella for us. Our company has been basically doubled in growth for the last 4 years. So we started small and we've been growing. So for our scale company, one little hit during the holiday sales time, will drive things forward. So gift baskets, unique Vermont gifts. These are the things. It's not people buying maple for presents. It's people looking for something outside the box. You take this to as a hostess gift to a party. It's not just another bottle of wine. It'll blow someone's mind, and then they'll come back with the recipe that comes in the brochure. So I would say the retailers recognize this a lot. We do a lot. Our fourth quarter hit is big in direct-to-consumer through media-driven, social media and conventional media-driven mentions. And our retailers know that they can put together a special package, with cheese and syrup you know, they make their own combinations. It really carrying this product puts you on the map. It separates you from your average gift store, your average mid-sized specialty store.
Archie, how are we doing on time?
Another minute.
Mike.
Yeah, so it sounds like the smoking process is a proprietary process. And then do you know the results, like if it introduces low levels of carcinogens into the product?
Smoking food is the oldest way of preserving and cooking food known to man. We use very specific temperature smoke. It's processed, controlled, wood smoke with food-grade compressed air to push this smoke down into the syrup and bubble it up through. Right? It's not proprietary. We did invent it. I mean, we came up with the technique. There are other people using it right now. It's very similar to many of the other natural smoke flavor products that are out there. So it's done using accepted temperature ranges and filtration techniques that are considered safe. That being said, full disclosure, we haven't done a full spectrometer analysis on the product yet, and that, you know, that might be something that we could do coming down the road. But context: there's 35,000 businesses in this country who are able to accept a tanker load of liquid smoke. Liquid smoke is a product that dominates the American culinary scene like you don't even believe. Bacon, all of the sauces they get. So we are positioning ourselves as a clean alternative to that.
I think we're out of time. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Just one of the many great food products we have here in southern Vermont. And coming up next, another wonderful food product, Kathleen Gurney with Salsa Sisters.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Gurney from Salsa Sisters from right here in Brattleboro, Vermont. We make homemade salsa. We're a very small company compared to Sugar Bob. We make homemade salsa. It all started many years ago. I used to can and do baking with my grandmother and my Aunt Dorothy. I have a love of growing and food and sharing the experience. And my friend and I, we used to do a lot of making of salsa and other goodies for family barbecues, cookouts, things like that. And everyone always said, you know, it's good, you really should bottle it and sell it. So I said one day, all right, let's get serious about this and let's take the time and do it. So we spent the next 6 to 8 months developing recipes. We're members of the International Chili Society. We attend several of their chili cook-offs throughout the area. We have our sales in different avenues of like farmers markets. We do craft fairs, we do holiday bazaars, we do fundraisers, we do all different kinds of things. This is some of our salsa at one of our events. Chili peppers and different peppers have a different scale. The Scoville heat scale was developed years ago by a gentleman to grade how hot different peppers are. And so when we were developing our first initial recipes, we did a lot of experimenting with different types of hot peppers, as well as quantities of those hot peppers to get to the flavors that we were looking for in our salsa. I have a few different shots of different events that we've been. This was the Art and Adventure Run last summer at Jackson Gore ski area. We did the Bacon Fest in Brattleboro last year, Pumpkin Fest in Keene, Bernison Craft Fair, the Brattleboro Hospital Benefit last fall over in Hinsdale. This is the Hinsdale Farmers Market this summer. The Antique Tractor Show in Bernison, Vermont this fall, or this summer. Salsa has a lot of variety of uses, not just for eating with chips. It's great to marinate meat or fish in and throw them on the grill, use in a crock pot. Salad dressings, mixing with meats or things. It's great to combine with mayonnaise or something like that and use it as a salad around your sandwich for a dressing or dip your French fries in. It's a much healthier use than some of the other products on the market. When we first started making salsa and experimenting, we started using a packaged salsa spice mix. And I was reading the package when we were first starting to use it, and I said, this has preservatives in it, and I don't want any preservatives in our salsa. So I said, let's go back to the drawing board, and so we created our own spice mixes as well that we use to make our salsa with. We're an all-natural product, no preservatives, no sugar, no vinegar. And we have some upcoming events that if you'd like to join us at. This Saturday we'll be at the Massachusetts State Chili Cook-Off in Winchendon, Mass. And a couple weeks after that, we're going to be at the Bonneville Fair, which is the Vermont's longest running fair in the state of Vermont. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
David.
I was at the Iron Venture Run, tried your product, was excellent.
Thank you.
Can you give me a little bit on what you've sold, what you're selling, what you want to sell, what's some financials?
Yes, I totally left that out, didn't I? Sorry about that. What we're looking for is for advice and guidance on growing our business more. We have a basic website set up, but we don't know what to do to go further with it because we need something more interactive so people can actually order. They can contact us through the website, but we haven't figured out a way how to get them to order through it. People email or call us for orders. We're looking for advice on the next steps. In this area, it's very difficult. There's no certified commercial kitchen space to rent, and co-packers are hard to find as well. So we're looking for ways. I mean, we have worked with a co-packer down in Berniston, Mass, but then there was some issues with it being across state lines and stuff. So I did have found a co-packer up in Bellows Falls, but I haven't had a chance to meet with him yet. We outgrew my SUV. I had to purchase a van the end of June for doing different events and stuff because with the tent and the tables and the chairs and all the product to sell, we needed a bigger vehicle because my friend was having to drive her car too and it was a waste of gas to take two vehicles. So I went and purchased a van, but now we need to customize the van because it's just a cargo van. So we need to get some kind of structure in there to hold the tables in place so it's not falling down on the salsa and things like that. We need to do nutritional testing so that we can have proper labels so that we'll be able to go into the co-ops and other stores that we'd like to get into. We need to do batch testing at the co-packer. We did some batch testing a couple of years ago with a co-packer in Berniston that we first started to work with, and those 2 days of testing cost us $2,000. And we raised the money and then the batches didn't come out the way we wanted them to, so we haven't raised the money to get back in there to do more testing.
How much have you sold year to date?
Year to date, last year's sales were over $7,000. This year I haven't totaled them up. I usually wait till the end of the year and then I have a sales sheet that I do for each event that lists the date of the event, the place where it's at, and then how many jars of each flavor that I sell, because we have a wide variety of flavors from Ho Ho Mild to our brand new Fontaine's Fire, which is our hottest one.
Other questions, Chris?
Did you tell us? I may have missed it. What the price point for your product, what you're charging?
At events for 8, 2 for 15, or 3 for 20, they're pint-sized jars. When we wholesale it to other mom and pops or farm stands that buy it from us, we sell it for $6.50 a jar. It costs us around $6 or so a jar. Another one of the issues, being a small cooking at home or renting commercial space, is I can't have anything. Nobody wants to deliver large quantities of fresh peppers and stuff to my home. So I have to drive around to the different stores in the different local states and clean everybody out every time we're doing a batch of salsa making, because we usually make 12 batches in a day. We'll spend 8 to 10 hours and make 12 batches, and I'll come home with 30 or plus more cases of salsa.
Did you say $6 making for $6.50?
I sell it for $6.50 when I wholesale it to other people. We sell it to the consumer for 8, 2 jars for 15, or 3 jars for 20.
Dave.
I forgot what my question was. Hang on a second. Ask somebody else and I'll.
All right.
I can get thrown off by those numbers.
So right now, your main distribution channel is going to events and selling it?
Yes, we have quite a following of consumers. We have this couple who lives in southern Connecticut that travel several times a year to different events when they see it on Facebook that we're going to be at an event. They came last fall to South Deerfield to an event, and the woman across the way who was sold knitted mittens and stuff, she slowly came over as they were talking, because they're saying that they drove all that way and some thought they were crazy for driving for salsa. And so after they left, she came over, so where are they from? I said, from southern Connecticut. She says, they drove all the way up for your salsa? I said, yes, they drive out everywhere. In fact, 2 weekends ago, they drove to Burleson, Mass, because they were low on salsa and needed more salsa. So
do they translate into online or phone orders as well? Like people that have bought it at the events?
oh yes, we have a lot of people that call or email us, and I'll meet people places. On a couple who did buy salsa, my pineapple salsa at the Iron Run Adventure last September, they were coming, they had been up there visiting Jackson Gore again, and they were coming back through, and they called me, and I said, sure, I'll meet you off 91 with a case of pineapple they bought. So I have a gentleman in Connecticut who lives in northern Connecticut who every year around the holidays he calls me up and he orders a case of Deadly Reaper, and I go down and meet him in Connecticut and he gets a case of Deadly Reaper. He gives it to all his family and friends for Christmas. So
Dave, you got it now.
I got it.
All right.
What's the shelf life? Is it shippable? Is it? Yeah.
you only have to refrigerate it once it's opened. Shelf life is 2 years or more until it's opened, because it's a canned product.
Have you considered using a community kitchen to increase your distribution and/or get somebody to help you with the financials so you can maybe narrow down your product line? Because it seemed like you had quite a few.
Well, we have quite a few. We started with 3. We went to 4 and went to 6. We said we weren't going to grow anymore, but our consumers have wanted more variety, more flavors. We started making the ones with the beer salsa. A couple of those we're going to drop. We're going to, in our box here, we've got Lefties. The brewmaster that we were working with, Lefties, is moving on to Berkshire, the Berkshire Brewing Company, which is a plus for us because they make a whole line of other beers that will also mix well with salsa. So we're going to be adding another logo. We're going to keep some of our Lefties salsas, but we're going to be adding some of the Berkshire brewings and getting rid of some of the Lefties ones.
Other question? How we doing on time? About a minute. We got about a minute. We can do one more question if somebody's got it. Okay, thanks very much.
So we do have more than just food here in southern Vermont, although we have excellent food. And by the way, it's all going to be available in the back when we're done. So definitely give this stuff a try. If nothing else, it makes awesome Christmas gifts and great investments. So now we're going to move to software. And we've got Alec, and he's going to tell us about RFPverse.
Hi, I'm Alec Kumjian. I'm actually really happy to be here right now. I just moved back to Vermont about 4 weeks ago after 6 years away in Seattle and the Marianas Islands. So we are RFPverse, and we're solving a problem that I encountered around 7 years ago at my first startup here in Brattleboro. I was working for a company that sold recycling containers, and we primarily sold to institutions like towns, counties, states, parks departments, universities, stadiums. And when these places want to buy recycling containers, they don't just call you up and say, hi, I'd like to buy 300 recycling containers, here's a check for $15,000. Instead, what they do is they typically issue a request for proposal, also called an RFP. So we spend a lot of time responding to these RFPs. And if you've ever done grant writing, it's a similar experience. Essentially, every RFP has different requirements. These might be timeline, quote, specification, references, and we did okay at this because the founder had over 10 years of experience responding to RFPs. But I really couldn't get over what enormous effort it was for each of these that we were doing. So, of course, RFPs, they're not just limited to recycling. There's construction, financial services, educational services, information technology. All of these are areas that often get issued through the RFP process. So what RFPverse does is it takes this stressful and tedious process and we just try to make it easy. We transform each request into a step-by-step walkthrough, essentially automating as much as possible. This opens up a whole world of contracts to small businesses that wouldn't normally be able to compete for these contracts. So after a business walks through the process, they walk away with a completed proposal ready to send out. And, the idea is if you've ever used something like TurboTax, it's a similar experience to that. So how are we building this service? Well, our founding team is deeply technical. We have over 15 years experience building user-driven web applications and marketplaces. At my previous startup, I built a video marketplace and asset manager. We did that from the ground up. It's currently valued at over $10 million. My co-founder, Greg, is an educator and a perpetual student. He helps run a geospatial open source group out in Seattle. And he's taught students programming at the University of Washington Extension Program. So he's done software contracting for all sorts of projects, including a lot of crowdfunding platforms. Over the years, Greg and I have built a bunch of popular open source software libraries together, and now we're building this company. So there are other sites out there that work with RFPs. Most of these charge a subscription service in order to get the RFP listings. So behind the scenes, they have humans who check websites and phone calls and emails, and they essentially just punch in one by one the data. At RFPverse, we have an automated process that collects all the requests, extracts out the most important information, and not only that, but searching for RFPs is completely free on our platform. So because the listings aren't behind a paywall, we're already having great luck with organic search engine results. And of course, we also completely guide the user through the process, whereas the other sites drop off after they find the RFP they're interested in. So I don't want to throw out ridiculous numbers, but I do want to emphasize just how large the market is. There are trillions of dollars in contracts in the United States issued through the RFP process every year. And the idea is RFP takes a commission each time a user successfully wins a contract, or we also accept a flat fee up front for using the proposal writing tool. There's lots of other opportunities that we're well positioned for. We can help new contractors get started by lining them up with insurance and bonding. We can quite easily pivot over to a publishing and management platform for the institutions that issue the RFPs. So if you're a town or a school or something and you're issuing RFPs on a regular basis, you'll be able to easily log into our system and keep track of all those, the submissions, the publishing. And then there's also many places that the RFP system, places that issue RFPs, you have to get pre-approved in order to submit for a particular RFP. So we can make it easy for companies to kind of sign up once on our system, and we help them get approved at all the different vendor lists in the region or area that they're looking at. So where are we at right now? The RFP search is up and running. We're adding new sources all the time. We're already getting high quality search traffic from Google. We already extract a number of different requirements from the RFPs, and we're getting a lot of useful data from that. Our costs right now are extremely minimal. We were granted a $5,000 credit on Amazon Web Services, where we do our hosting through their Activate initiative. And so our hosting is free at the moment. Our next step is to expand the number of requirements that we're able to extract, and for that we want to contract a data scientist, and we already have someone that we're talking to. Additionally, we want to hire a junior developer whose primary role would be to add new sources to the RFP collector. So that will free up Greg and myself to continue work on the proposal tool and line up our early adopters. We already have one company who wants to pay for the service as soon as it's ready, and in the meantime, we're already seeing some ad revenue from the organic search traffic. So like I said before, I'm really happy to be back in Vermont. I'm excited about the growing tech scene here. And I'm a little sad I don't have the 802 phone number anymore, but feel free to reach out with questions and suggestions. Thank you. Arrigo. Yes.
Thank you, Alex, for your presentation. Thank you, Alex, for your presentation. I have a bit of familiarity with the issue. I work in a company that was serving the lottery world. So RFP every day. The department dealing with that has 30 people doing only RFP. But when we try to reorganize or streamline or whatever this department, everyone was telling me that is impossible because every RFP is different from the other. Now, how your software can...
Sure. So yes, every RFP is unique, and every town or whatever, they have their own forms that they want you to fill out. So it's a combination of extracting the commonalities and just understanding that, being able to look for certain patterns and say, oh, this RFP is looking for you to fill out this one form as part of its process. And you combine that with things like knowing that, so you as a company, you've maybe already put in, here's your product specifications or something. We say, oh, this document, it's probably asking for your product specs. Here's all your files that have your product specs for you. So there's no such thing as a completely uninterrupted, streamlined process, but we are hoping to save people a lot of time. And in addition to that, this is going to be a huge help for companies that can't afford a team of 30 people to work on RFPs every day. So we're trying to open that up to, especially for regional or local or university RFPs, we're trying to open that up to contractors who never thought they could do this before.
Ed, are you familiar with a service called BidSync, and how does this compare?
Yes. So I'm trying to remember the particulars of BidSync. So some of the big ones are
subscription, and
it's
the search that you said you're giving away for people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's about 3 to 4 really big ones that essentially charge for the subscription services, and I mean they do a pretty good job at what they do. But the problem is, because all the listings are behind a paywall, we intend to kind of sweep the rug out from under their feet in terms of the organic search traffic. So in the future, when someone goes in and types, county X bids, we want to be #1 up there, and we think we have a much better shot over the long term of being well positioned for that, because all the listings are not behind a paywall.
Isn't that a huge data set?
Yes.
Generic for every business? I mean, it's just a huge amount of potential RFPs that you have to serve up, right? What you're looking for.
Yes, so the collector is, it aggregates the RFPs and processes them from, towns and institutions all over the country, yeah.
And are you skimming that information?
Yeah, so right now the collector is set up with 2 primary sources right now. So that's, we've built a very, very versatile, crawler essentially that is designed in such a way that it's pretty arbitrarily easy to add in, poorly formatted small town websites, everything up to kind of the larger institutional ones. We also have a system where we subscribe to the places that do the email announcements, and it actually pulls in the emails and processes those. There's also a pipeline to put it in from other sources as well. Gary?
So I thank you. This is a great idea. I mean, I live in RFP hell, so I have a special place in hell for the whole RFP process. I'm not necessarily looking at a service that, like, I know, because of what we do, I know the RFPs because I'm connected to the industry. Like your RFPs are such a broad thing. I would need to know you're targeted specifically at, and oftentimes the RFPs are issued to meet what it is we do, like this is special to.
Yes.
So here's my question for you then. So I'm not as interested in, help me find them, because that's not how my business works. What I am interested in is that once I get the RFP, can I email it into your system and your system analyzes it, structures it, pulls out the things and saves the process of us having to, well, we read it anyway, but there's all these details that go into it. Can you do that kind of analysis?
Essentially, yes. So that is basically the analysis we're doing now. We don't have kind of an on-the-fly ingestion system like you're describing, and that's really interesting, essentially allowing people to bring in their own RFPs. We would definitely consider doing something like that, yeah.
Debbie was next.
So you said you can do a flat fee or a percentage. Do you decide
Yes.
that?
So the idea is that the consumer would decide that. So because that's not available right now, I'm very much looking for expertise in this area. I know people love the SaaS model, but I also don't want to scare away people that are essentially completely new to the process. So as far as the major revenue model goes, I think the earning a commission model it certainly scales very well, but also open to settling on flat fee or SaaS at this point.
I think Eric, you had your hand up.
So, if the search algorithm obviously can be set up to find the RFPs that are done more mechanically, which is what all the paid sites are doing, right? The federal ones all look the same, it'd be easier to find presumably.
Yeah.
So if the search algorithm can actually grab those odd ducks that are put out by all the small towns and communities, like that lights me right up.
Yeah. Well, that's the main goal. The federal stuff, everyone is going for those big dollars essentially, and there's tons of people applying for those. Right. And so we're much more focused on grabbing in all those random little, regional and local stuff, and poorly formatted websites, random PDFs that are just like all images or whatever it is. Yeah, that is essentially what we do. Thanks. Great.
Another minute. Got another minute, we could do one more.
I like to go through them every time because it always needs to be refreshed, it needs to be spell checked, it needs to be reformatted so that it looks professional when you send it in. I personally would have a hard time trusting somebody else to suck information out of different places and put it all. I'd spend more time checking your work than I would if I just did it myself the first time.
Sure. Yeah, and I don't mean to think that the tool is going to write the entire proposal for you. You think of it more of like a holding hand to kind of walk you through the process. And if you have a long history doing RFPs, you probably have like a very particular process and way
that. The last one, and you basically copy and change a few things.
Yeah, sure.
You update the numbers and the projects.
Right. Yep.
Great. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
So next we've got Gino Palmieri of Vermont Elderberry.
Hi everyone. This is a fun opportunity. I'm going to try without the mic too. We are Vermont Elderberry. I am Gino Palmieri. And to set the scene, 6 years ago, a middle-aged entrepreneur naturalist, that's me, stood at the edge of a worn-out hayfield and looked out over his land, a former dairy farm in beautiful southern Vermont. He said, "This land needs a higher purpose than just growing hay. It needs to support an ecosystem of plants and trees, animals and pollinators. It should resist erosion and build healthy, carbon-rich soil for our planet. How do I make that happen? And how do I make it pay?" Enter American elderberry. It's this wild shrub just growing next to me. And it speaks. Want to get paid, fella? If you're going to heal the ecosystem, why not heal humans while you're at it? What, grow medicine. Do you know the retail margin on herbal medicine? Thanks, Big Pharma. My berries make both medicine and food, a centuries-old tradition across North America and Europe. I prevent colds and flu and build up the immune system. My delicate flowers make a tasty medicine too. And the bees love them. So what do you say, fella? Why not make me your cash crop? Well, I listened to the elderberry and I did a little research. I took a good look at the wellness aisle at the grocery store and I found elderberry products taking up a lot of shelf space. I discovered that elderberry is a safe and effective antiviral medicine and immune support. It works best when it's taken daily as a tonic, not just when illness strikes. That means regular repeat customers, especially in an age when we are worried about global virus pandemics. I also discovered that most of those products in the store were made with imported elderberries. A product made with organic Vermont elderberries would add value, just like Vermont maple syrup does. So I began experimenting, planting elderberry bushes, different hybrids and methods of organic berry production. Vigorous, healthy 10-foot bushes resulted from our excellent soil and location. More recently, I began the organic certification of our farm. Of course, I'm not the first Vermonter to think of these native shrubs as a cash crop. I took time to visit the farmers who pioneered elderberry culture here. In over 5 years, I participated in a dozen on-farm workshops and conferences dealing with both the agricultural side and the business side, the product side of this endeavor. In 2015, the University of Vermont began a study concluding that elderberries are a valuable cash crop for Vermont farmers. I was interviewed for that research. My prototype was on the table at the conference, on the demo table. The interested growers could discuss the possibility of a producer's co-op. The Extension's Sustainable Ag program is an invaluable asset to those of us seeking new directions in local agriculture. After many product trials, including some messy errors, countless free samples given out, we developed 2 popular elderberry wellness tonics, much less sugary than what's currently out there, containing our proprietary blend of herbal extracts with the best possible flavor. We call one the traditional formula, 8% organic alcohol. The other is the alcohol-free formula, great for kids and anyone seeking to avoid alcohol. Because elderberry is both a food and a medicine, we developed our own line of organic elderberry-based fruit jams, all very low in sugar. We developed an elderflower lemon syrup that makes a wonderful summer drink, already widely popular in Canada and Europe. You may know the taste of elderflowers from the Saint Germain liqueur. Well, now it has competitors distilled here in New England. So, currently, our immunity tonic costs $2.50 per ounce to produce. I'm sorry, retail. Our basic cost to produce it is only $1.05 per ounce, using top quality ingredients purchased in small volumes. It includes labor, packaging, and overhead. Our harvest of berries will triple this year. We have a pressing need to scale up and handle growth wisely. So recently we bottled a prototype at a nearby licensed co-packing facility. Our production costs per unit fell with the increased volume. Thus, the margin we will give to new retailers will be balanced by economies of scale. Our customers are well educated. They care about their health and the planet's health. They are the first demographic to learn about how organic agriculture stores carbon in the soil. They buy medicines and foods that are organic, high in antioxidants, low in sugar. And typically, they've already used elderberry. And they strongly support solar-powered businesses like ours. And since our customers are community-minded, they favor products that are locally grown and processed. They shop at farmers markets, food co-ops, Whole Foods. When only one bottle of ours says farmer-owned on it, they will favor us. Vermont elderberry's initial trade territory consists of southern Vermont, southwestern New Hampshire, and the Pioneer Valley of Massachusetts, with numerous colleges and universities. The region's population is over 900,000, one of the most highly educated groups in the entire country. The Northeast U.S. will be the eventual focus of our marketing strategy as we grow. We have verbal agreements from several food co-ops to carry our wellness products as soon as we have the inventory. We have a new label and barcodes to meet their demands. Farmers markets were our only sales outlets during our initial year. We've sold out of everything but a few of these samples here today. By this time next year, our annual sales should break $30,000. Excuse me. Break $30,000. To grow beyond that, however, we want to raise $20,000 in startup money. Is there a point? In startup funding.
We're at 7 minutes. I don't
Thank
know
you
if we
very
want
much.
a hard
That's
cut.
all I need to say. Thank you all for coming and for riding here.
Okay.
Michael.
If the original desire is actually to move the extra berries, and there's all these options available on the shelf, who might very well want a local supplier, why not just move as many berries as you can straight off the farm and call it at that?
You mean sell to other producers?
Let's say if this, that's right. Let's say if this is not differentiated in other ways other than how the berries are produced, then why not just stay with that? You have a good berry that you produce a great way, and then you can wholesale them out there and move the entire quantity.
Mm-hmm. Well, it would be great if I was already a large farm, a producer, but I am just scaling up. I have 250 bushes right now, and planting. But moreover, it's about capturing margins, I think. And I've only run one other business where I was. It was very simple. I was a contractor, but this is complex, and I learned at the conference last month that it's about capturing margins, and I gotta be a producer. It's value-added products. Anyone else?
Dave.
So you got cut off in your numbers there.
Yeah.
You said you see projections at about 30 grand.
Can I go back?
Yeah.
Is that,
Yeah. Where do you think this can go?
well,
What's kind of your long-range vision?
Well, my long-range vision is to grow the business until I'm tired of running it, until it becomes a monster. I enjoy it. I enjoy the work, and I enjoy the people, the sales, and certainly the
Let me
plans.
make it a little bit more specific.
Yeah, okay.
The acreage you have.
Yes.
And the plans that you have, next 5 years, how big can this business become?
I could throw out a number. In the next 5 years, it'll have 6 digits for sure. But it's I'd need to. I would like to buy from other producers. I'm trying to get other elderberry producers in Vermont who don't have their own products already to form a cooperative and sell them. And we need that de-stemming machine, a costly item from Europe. But it's very doable. They have one in Missouri now.
Do you have a concept of how big the market is, the competitors, how much are they? I mean, is this a $30,000 a year market? Is this a $3 million a year market? What's the market size potential of this berry?
If I had a longer time, I would have gotten you those figures, and I have seen them. The nutraceutical industry is really growing, and there's some really large numbers there. I'm not going to pretend to know any for you now, but I will say that elderberry is growing and grows really fast when there's flu epidemics, and there was one year, 2008, I think. I mean, it surpasses. It hasn't totally surpassed ginseng, for example, and some of the top herbs, but it's really growing in popularity and importance. Did I answer your question? Thank you. Yes.
Keith, is there anybody nationally marketing elderberry, trying to bring these? This is the first I've really heard of it. I've heard of acai berries and pomegranates and all the health benefits of these things because of national marketing. But I haven't really heard anything about elderberry. Is there anything to help support what you're doing?
Well, there are national brands such as Sambucol and some of the national herb companies, whose names I can't remember, they're on one of the pictures. They, yes, their market is all across North America. I also have competitors, probably I worry about more, I think, who are Vermont, who started in the Northeast, for example, but they don't produce in Vermont anymore. They were sold. Any more? We good? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, last but certainly not least, we're gonna move away from food one more time to Green Up Kids and CS Würzburg.
Good afternoon. I'm C.S. Wurzberger, better known as the Green Up Girl. I am also the founder and director of the Green Up Kids Academy. We are all about offering programs that are empowering the next generation to become social entrepreneurs and help improve the planet. For the last 17 years, I've been running a business, web development and search engine optimization for hundreds of eco-friendly customers all around the world. I have also helped them find more customers and increase their revenue. I am also the author of a collection of marketing books, as well as giving presentations and teaching at conferences all around the country. I am also an award-winning podcaster. I've launched a series for the Livestock Conservancy and also for Greener by Choice. A few months ago, my life changed forever. I was on the phone with Mother Earth News, consulting and helping them launch their new podcast series. At the end of the call, Robert said, "So, what other projects are you working on, CS?" I'm writing a handbook series for kids to become social entrepreneurs. He was so excited. Can you come to the next Mother Earth News Fair and present some workshops for our kids? In case you're not aware, Mother Earth News Magazine has workshops and fairs at 8 different cities around the country, bringing in between 20 to 40,000 attendees. Sure, checked my calendar, I'd love to, Robert. Got off the phone, my intern looked at me and said, "What did you just commit to?" Well, our timeline has moved up 8 months and we're headed to Texas in a few weeks. Presenting at these fairs have been the best focus groups we ever could have wished for. We have learned that the next generation of kids are frustrated with the environmental damage that's being done. They're also aggravated about the increased number of endangered animals. In our generation alone, the number has grown 179%. That's a lot of species we are about to lose. Kids have brilliant ideas. They are out there searching for a platform. They want to voice their concerns, share their solutions, and they're looking for social projects to lead. At Green Up Kids Academy, our curriculum is done and ready to scale up. Kids can then pick a topic, a species, an eco-friendly product to sell. They plan their projects, and best of all, they're learning presentation skills and inspiring others to join in. Our impact. Let me introduce you to Sally. Sally came into one of our programs because she loves sea turtles. She discovered that plastic shopping bags were blowing into the ocean. The sea turtles were mistaking them for jellyfish, eating them, suffocating, and dying. Sally's project was all about inspiring her friends and family to start using cloth bags. Now, my favorite part of this story was when it was Sally's turn to present. Please note, Sally was a very quiet, shy little girl when she first came to the program. I could barely hear her asking the questions. But when I handed Sally the mic, she stood up there to present, "Hi, my name is Sally and I'm here to talk about protecting sea turtles." Her mother and I had goosebumps. I still get goosebumps thinking about that story. This is just an example, just one example of how we are impacting these kids. We're building confidence. We're giving them their social platform. Each child learns a variety of important skills, everything they need to excel in the 21st century. We don't have any direct competitors right now. There are many folks doing environmental education, but what sets us apart is we're not just teaching the kids about environmental issues, we're giving them the platform where they can then create their own real-world action plans. We're also giving the teachers a way to to teach all of this information in a quick, easy way. So take a look. Here is one of our large competitors, or soon-to-be competitors. Look at the size of their market. They are promoting social entrepreneurship, and they are doing it with sales of $515 million. Ashoka is out there, and they are also serving young entrepreneurs, adults, and teachers. Look at the reach around the world. We want to do the exact same thing. There are currently 1.6 billion kids out there in the world, a huge market, and we're looking forward to serving them. In just 6 months, we have already reached just under $26,000. But look at the potential by hiring an office assistant, a marketing manager, and bringing in more teachers and selling curriculum, we can now expand. In fact, we just met with Green Meadow yesterday. They are one of the leaders in selling curriculum. They are now purchasing our curriculum. The legal contracts just arrived this afternoon. So here's our rollout plan. I've sold my home. I've bought an RV. We're already traveling the country, going to all the Mother Earth news fairs, and we're already rolling out curriculum, and the virtual academy opens in 2 more weeks. So here's how you can help. By show of hands, how many of you know kids that love animals and protecting the planet? Tell them about what we're doing. Grab a stack of the business cards, pass them out. Invest $38,000 and help us enhance the website and our technology and our educational app. Invest $55,000 and help us roll out the sale of our curriculum. Or go really wild and help us buy a facility here in southern Vermont where we can bring children regionally and from around the world to learn about launching their social enterprise. Thank you for your time. Now I can breathe.
Intended use with the property, would it be for camps, or are you going to build a school, or what's the idea?
Thank you for asking that. So with the physical location, we would both be, yes, the camps where the kids can come into us. It can also be a home where all of our technology can be based, because we know in order to reach hundreds of thousands of kids around the world, we need to be able to do the virtual programs as well. So it's bringing kids to us, it's broadcasting out, it's bringing the teachers and the educators in also. I mean, how cool would it be, the green state of Vermont, teaching kids and adults from around the world how to green up? What a perfect place. And for the green up girl to be leading it, of course.
Dave. Can you talk about the revenue model a little bit? Is this subscription to schools that you want to get, or direct to consumer, or where's the online academy drilling into?
Perfect. So when we started analyzing and working through all the numbers with the consultant I'm working with, my initial is I'm the teacher. I want to be out there working with the kids either directly or virtually. That's what we're finding from the Mother Earth News fairs, is the kids are coming in, we're already teaching thousands there at the festivals. but the revenue, the higher potential, is the licensing of the curriculum and the teaching and certifying of the teachers. Because many teachers want to teach environmental studies, but it means they have to do more research and more studying on their own. What Oak Meadow was so excited about with me yesterday when we presented our curriculum, it's done. They've talked about doing a social entrepreneurship for a few years now, but they didn't want to have to start from scratch. That's already my area of expertise. So when I walked in with these yesterday, Michelle was like, oh my gosh. And what sets us apart is when you flip through and look after, all the worksheets, everything is built into the curriculum. So when the kids are done doing it, their action plan is all done. For the teachers, we're now laying out and recording the videos, so we walk the teachers through the entire process. And just like with Oak Meadow, if a teacher doesn't understand in the marketing book how to help the youngster now promote or do PR or do a podcast, we have the videos, and I am the one then guiding the kids through that in a video, in a technology-based platform.
So this is primarily an old school work-based, workbook-based program. Is there an online component for kids that aren't able to get the book, or to be able to stay up on the skills after they've taken the class, or how does that work?
Absolutely. So again, remember, this has just been live for a few months. So as we look at the whole big giant dream of all of this, yes, many of our teachers, especially, no offense, our older teachers, still want this old-fashioned book. But this is why I need an investor to help with the app, or at least someone to guide me on the proper way to do the app. We need to meet the kids with the technology as well. So we are then a mix. And then just the other piece that Oak Meadow also loved is they get access to my expertise. So whether I'm monitoring the Facebook group for the kids, or whether I'm then supporting the teachers, I'm also then training additional staff, so those teachers will have all the support they need, as well as the kids. It's a whole new model. That's why I don't have a lot of competition, because we're doing something entirely different.
I'm going to run out of you before too long.
Oh, I am so, this is me without coffee.
Charlie?
I really respect what you do, and I think that there's a huge need on our planet right now for kids that are empowered to be more responsible. With that being said, I do believe a virtual component is going to be really what you need for success. Do you have any idea what it would cost to build an application to facilitate learning online?
Well, right now we're using a platform called Wishlist. So that's right out of the box. That gives me all the modules. It plugs into my WordPress platform. So that's launching us right now. But yes, as we start getting into thousands and thousands of kids, and then a separate component for my teachers and how I'm certifying them, we're going to need our own custom platform. But right now, what I've got out of the box is going to work beautifully, because I've also used it on other clients. Remember, I've got over 17 years in the web development world. Yeah. Back to the old-fashioned days when we actually use HTML to code a website.
Some people still do.
I know, but why?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions?
What's the target age range of the kids you're looking at with this?
Perfect question, because this is such an exciting question. In the traditional educational world, it's what are you doing for kindergarten, first grade, second grade? From the experts, and we said we are covering second grade to 12th graders. Now a traditional person goes, holy moly, how can you do that? There's such diverse learning skills. But even yesterday working with Michelle, she's like, look at this curriculum, CS. Your 6th graders to 12 can do these workbooks all by themselves with adult supervision, because they're also, we work with homeschoolers as well as teachers. They're going to be able to do it with an adult. We have heard some of our younger teachers that work with the 1st through 4th grade, and I am already starting on taking this information and softening it down so the younger grades can take off. But Sally was only 8 years old with the sea turtle, and she dove right in without any problem doing her work.
Dave?
Is there, I know the educational work is a little funny when you talk about sponsorships, but like Green Up Day in Vermont has sponsors, albeit the wrong ones, not the ones that actually create pollution, but that's a separate topic. You know, is this something that, you know, you could go online and get corporate sponsors to come in? It might change the whole model, but it seems like something that corporate world could get behind as well.
Yes, because not only, and is Andrew still here? I already went up to Andrew from Key Bank and I said, we need to talk after this because we've got his future customers. So the banking industry, the finance, how many of you guys are looking for that next generation? And in the first book, step number 4 is giving back. And it's also, my next dream is, let's teach these kids how to invest. Schools don't teach them about their checking accounts and what to do. We're positioning these kids to make money and to be responsible. Let's teach them how to invest. And the ultimate dream, what the Skoll Foundation is doing, their $515 billion, they have a foundation where they're making loans. I know, but I want to talk more. So yes, there's a whole financial component. Come talk to me.
We'll collect these score sheets. Josh is going to do some tabulations. It's going to be a little double checking. Figure we need about 5 minutes probably or so. So there's still refreshments back there. All right, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we have a winner, and the winner is Sugar Bob. Come on up, we need to get a. All right.
Where's Jim?
Where's Josh? Got it. Okay, let's get up.
And you got a job?
Sugar Bob.
All right, I got the, what's the dog? Tucker and Road Pitch.
Abby.
Where's RT? RT. Where are you?
All right.
No, RT.
Okay. You need Raymond.
Sugar Bob. Yeah, that'll work, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, we got a bank account in that name?
Yeah, absolutely. We sure did. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm Sugar Bob here at the River Garden in beautiful downtown Brattleboro. Came down from Londonderry, Windham County businessman. Got involved in this great thing with Orly. A couple years ago, she really started buying my product. I did little events here in the River Garden. She supported me all along the way. That's Orly, Bumping and Strolling the Heifers. What a great program they have going down here. We got involved in this Wyndham Grows kind of business accelerator opportunity. I haven't begun it yet, but boy, am I excited to learn more about how to grow a business in Southern Vermont. And then we stumbled across this pitch competition. It's been tough, man. I tell you, I came to all 3 coaching sessions. Jim, RT, everybody here has been working really hard to get Sugar Bob on track. Well, you know, we hit it out of the park today, but I couldn't have done it without all the people here in Windham County, Brattleboro, Strolling the Heifers, and with the state of Vermont. My business wouldn't be here today without the key support I've gotten from the Department of Ag, Food and Markets. They sent us to trade shows. We've got some small grants that have put us on the map. Even USDA food export money is helping keeping this little road show going. And now we have the Road Pitch Bear and a check from Working Tracks, Fresh Tracks, Working Capital Management to show for. So thank you very much. Sugar Bob, signing off.